Good evening. I'm Christopher Sullivan-Diaz, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. University of Nebraska men's basketball coach Fred Hoiberg announced Tuesday the hiring of veteran college strength coach Michael Chapman as director of strength and conditioning for the Husker men's basketball program. Chapman brings more than 15 years of experience at the Division I level to the Huskers, including stints at power conference programs in the Big Ten, SEC, and Pac-12 conferences. RIP the Pac-12. He has helped 10 of his former players reach the NBA, including 5 first-round draft picks, and has been a part of 3 programs which advanced to the NCAA tournament. Sammy Bland, Hannah Camenzind, Jesse Farrell, Jordy Fromm, and Casey Hoffman all earned CSC Academic All-District honors, the organization announced on Tuesday. And finally, Nebraska soccer is set to host a World Cup watch party on Friday, June 12th, the team announced on Tuesday. The Team USA match against Paraguay is set to kick off at 8 p.m. Central. There will be various pre-match activities, including street soccer and games and family-friendly activities. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process to retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next right here in the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Barr set the letters of 2-1. This one turned on into right center field. This is down. That's going to score Stokes easy. Worthley on his way to third. Now he's going to be waved home. The throw will be cut off. The throw to the plate. Not in time. Chase Sanderson, what can't you do tonight?
So now a pair in scoring position. Second and third, 2 outs. Already 4 runs in this inning. And the 1-0. And Camenzind tries it. Deep left field. All the way back. And gone. It's gone. Take a ride on that one. All the way to Oklahoma City. Nebraska leads it. 9-1. Nebraska 9. Oklahoma State 1. Bottom of the 5th. Runner at first, 2 outs. Jordy Fromm with a 1-2. Godwin swings, and they appeal to first. They rule. She went around. Strike 3, and Nebraska is going to the Women's College World Series in 2026.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome into Sports Nightly. Full 2 hours headed your way. Got lots of baseball and softball talk. The voice of Husker softball going to be joining us, Nate Rohr. Always fun to chat with him, and I'm sure we might get to a little Texas hate, as we usually do. With
he's
Nate
not
Rohr.
a fan. He's not a fan of Texas.
A fan.
He's not a fan of any other team that's not the Huskers, and I wouldn't be if I was him. The first time back to the World Series for Nate since 2013. I know what it feels. You know what it feels like to be a part of big events, call big events, and I'm happy for him because it's been a long wait to get to the Women's College World Series, and it's a different event since when the Huskers were last there, and I think he's going to have a lot of fun with it.
So we'll be chatting with him here in just a few minutes, and then we'll hear a couple more conversations that Kyle and I were able to have with both baseball and softball following the reactions from the Huskers clinching that berth to the Women's College World Series and the selections show on Monday. So we'll get to that here in hour number 2. But wanted to start with some more football talk, and I guess rinse and repeat a little bit. Another offensive lineman. Man, what a week it's been for Jeep Wade and Lonnie Teasley. Another 4-star offensive lineman committed yesterday, but we made it a baseball and softball show, so wanted to get into that here today. Another addition to the 2027 class. Timi Aliu, I think is how you say it.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of names that we got to figure out.
Yeah, you're going to have fun with your pronunciations for your charts here coming up in the next couple of years. But out of Locust Grove, Georgia, so not only a third offensive lineman in the last week, a third one from Georgia, but 6'5", 315th, and he's ranked the 26th offensive lineman overall in the country in this class. So another big, literally, get for Jeep Wade. I mean, it's just so impressive. We continue to say it. But, I mean, wow, he's just been on a streak here the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and recruiting from an area he knows well. We've said it now 3 times. From the state of Georgia, you're taking guys from the SEC backyard. I think for this latest recruit, I mean, you were battling off Georgia, I think Florida as well. So Clemson. I think he was offered by, I believe, Auburn as well, Arkansas. He took an official visit to Illinois, so you're able to beat them out. Again, it's all about getting these guys to campus. It's one thing to have that verbal commit, and then the next step is getting all of them here signed on the dotted line and then in pads with Nebraska. So that's the next stop here in this timeline. But when you hire Jeep Wade, and that was one of the first calls that Matt Rule made when you had to hire a new offensive line coach, and I remember talking to Jeep. It was the first interview he did here at Nebraska, and Coach Rule didn't give him a whole lot of time to make his decision, right? He had to have his decision right on the phone, and Jeep didn't think twice about coming here because he knows the history, the pipeline of offensive linemen that are here, and the history of the lines of scrimmage at Nebraska, and he didn't waste any time taking this job, and you could see the impact that he's had as a recruiter. I think it's important when you hire a staff member that, they have to coach, and they have to coach at a high level and coach their techniques at a high level, but you have to be able to recruit at a high level. And Jeep has shown that in a short time here that he has done so in the backyard of the SEC.
It's going to be interesting what he's better at, coaching or recruiting.
Yeah, you know what? If he's as good of a coach as he is recruiter, then he's
We're in for a treat.
Pretty darn good position. But watching him as a coach, I mean, he's an elite coach. There's a reason that he was the first call. There's a reason that Georgia Tech had so much success on the offensive line, so much success in their run game. It's because of a leader in Jeep Wade who has so much experience as an offensive line coach and just being in coaching for such a long time. And you could see his personality. He doesn't yell down at players. It's not his coaching style. He wants to coach them up, make them the best player and person they possibly can be. And you could see guys are just jumping at the opportunity to be a part of this Nebraska program. And it all starts, Jess, you know this well. It's watching all these games at field level. It all starts at the line of scrimmage. You have to be tough. You have to be strong, especially in the Big Ten when the weather's tough and you have to control time of possession. You have to be able to take the air out of the football, and that starts with the offensive line.
And listen, the big dog, Jeremiah Searles, our resident offensive lineman that is able to talk about all this stuff. I mean, I've talked to him so much. It seems like half of our podcast are like 90% talking about the offensive line. But he knows it. He played in the NFL. He dives in. He watches so much film. It's crazy. And then he also still practices if you see him at all. But, and when he talks about it, you just know he knows. And it goes way over my head. I'm like, what are you talking about? But he loves the technique. He loved what he saw in the spring game. And he thinks already what's going to be able to be done. And granted, not everything has already been implemented because he just got here and so much has to be done with the offensive line. But even just through what was able to be done in December, and still he was having to do kind of a little bit of both of what was done last year. You can't implement everything that you do in December in the bowl season when he got here. But then throughout the spring, you still can't get everything in. So they're still going to be working on that here throughout the summer. But so just what he saw and what this offensive line this year is going to be able to do, really excited about that. So that for me speaks volumes if the big dog likes it. But, I'm just so impressed. So I think, moving forward, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see maybe which coach makes the biggest impact, I guess, initially to start the season.
Yeah, and it seems like it could be Jeep, right? Yeah. And that the transfers they brought in, the future is incredibly bright, but so is the present with what they have on this offensive line this year.
Okay, so Teamy becomes, again, the third over in the last week, but joining Katie Jones and Jordan Agbanoma. But 11 commitments in this 2027 class, and again, shaking up to be one of the best in the country, and big recruiting ahead here in the next month. But currently ranked, I think, 20th by 24/7. 4 offensive linemen in that 11. And we've said this every time we've talked about an offensive lineman recruit, but going back to that, you just can't get offensive linemen from the portal that are going to help you as much as you can other positions. They just don't go in the portal as much. And when they do, they're so expensive. So you cannot rely on just rebuilding the offensive line from the portal every single year. You have to build. That is the one position you just have to build from within every year. So the fact that you're already kind of off to that big time start with 4 of your 11 there on the offensive line is really, really big. And hey, they're potentially going to add even more here coming up in the next month with some big time visits coming up and camps over the next throughout June. So they've got some big time events coming up here over the next month.
Yeah, and also Matt Erickson's a part of that 27 class, Millard North product as well. So you have that local flair to the offensive line that's coming in the 27 class. And again, you have those camps are big. I mean, they're huge in those camps in the summer. That's when you get some of those elite prospects here.
And they want to make that 7-on-7 camp, which is coming up June 20th, really big because again, these recruits that come in, a lot of times they are sold when they come to football games. And a lot of them now, the way that recruiting goes, might not be able to come to a camp before they commit or to a game before they commit. Hey, you know, and again, I think you mentioned this too, the last time we talked about these offensive line commits. But shout out Donovan Raiola. Team he came to the blackout game. So I think, you know, again, the foundation that was laid back in, you know, the fall with some of these guys. And then Jeep Wade was able to take some of it on. And so, but again, that 7-on-7 camp is going to be huge to get some of these guys in and get a little taste of what this atmosphere is like, because some of them might not be able to get to a game.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking aside from the offensive line, Ahmad Hudson, who was the big tight end recruit, of course, he verbally committed to LSU, but don't rule out Nebraska to come back around to find a way to get him back on campus. I mean, that's just sort of how this thing works. You add him to the class. I know that's a long ways away, and that would be a lot of work that it would take to pry him away from LSU, but the relationship that was built there with the #1 tight end in the country could be big, too, as we hit closer.
Exciting. And, you know, it seems like when this started, when Trey Taylor committed this time a year ago, and now we're getting closer to it being 6 months because they signed in December. But it's shaping
Shout out
up,
Trey Taylor.
Shaping up really nicely.
Yeah, and Trey, they'll be here. He'll be here next fall, right? Because he's going to play in Omaha, play in Millard South, I believe, his high school ball. So he'll be here in Lincoln. He'll be around the program. He'll be at just about every home game, which he was this past year. He's a difference maker in recruiting. You can see how important peer recruiting is and how it has to be that way.
Shoot, he'll be here probably throughout June helping recruit these guys, because that was a big part of why he wanted to move here throughout his senior season, is to be here for all these big events and help recruit the guys that are going to join him here on campus. All right, got to get to a break. Coming up next, we're going to talk Husker softball in the Women's College World Series. Nate Rohr, the voice of Husker softball, going to join us. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In the mood for a wild ride? Then enter the Nebraska Lottery's Pony Payout promotion. Until July 28th, when you enter non-winning Pony Payout scratch tickets online, you could win a 2026 Ford Mustang GT Fastback. Gallop over to a Nebraska Lottery retailer and play today. Ford Mustang is a trademark owned and licensed by Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company is not a sponsor of this promotion. Pony Payout top prize odds 1 in 120,000.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody, and look who we've managed to get in studio here today. The voice of Husker softball, Nate Rohr, and a big week coming up for Nate. How excited are you to be headed down to OKC?
Bouncing off the walls. Look, this team is playing well. This team dominated the Super Regional. You have a shot at a national championship, which I think is really special. And, you know, it's funny. I was talking to some of the players from that 13 team, the last team, to make it to Oklahoma City. And they were happy that Nebraska didn't dogpile. They had a big celebration around the mound, and they hugged, and they had a fun time with it, but it wasn't like they were overwhelmed by the fact that, oh my God, we're going to Oklahoma City. And it's because I think it's been an expectation from day one. And the other thing I heard from some of them was, this team's different than us. This team, I think, is going down there with the idea that they belong, that they're not just going down there to go 2-Q, not to say that 13 team got run out of the building the last 2 one-run games, but this team, I think, has a very real and a very understandable expectation that they could go down there and make a run.
So you feel different about this team going down there than you did in 2013?
Without question. Yeah. Without question, because, I mean, that 13 team, they were a 13 national seed. You know, they were still really young. The bulk of that team was a bunch of freshmen, and they played really well. Don't get me wrong, but you went down there going, okay, we're fortunate to be here. Let's see if the good vibes can keep going. Whereas with the experience that this team has, I think there's very real expectation to go down there and really compete for a national title.
Were you surprised with how at ease the 2 games where you win 8-1 in game 1, the ease in which you win game 2, 7-run fifth? Yes. That had to surprise, shock you.
The way, especially with Ruby Malin in the circle, and Kenny Gajewski alluded to the fact that Ruby was maybe a little out of gas, which I can get. They had to ride her. Neither of their other pitchers was able to pitch at the level at which you needed to pitch for them to win in the Big 12, let alone a super regional. And there was just such emotion around this super regional for her that, especially when things started going bad, it was tough for her to break it. And so I think Nebraska had a really good plan against her. I'm sure they spent the whole week laser focused on her, and that's part of the downside of only having one pitcher. Is that Nebraska spent the entire week locked in on her, and so they had a great plan. And then when she wasn't at her best, Nebraska jumped on her. We didn't see her best last weekend, I don't think. But that's part of why you need pitching depth and why it's important to develop a second pitcher, which is one of the reasons I feel so great about what Nebraska can do this weekend.
Yeah. Okay, so Nebraska wins, and then you get to sit back and watch the 3 super regionals unfold on Sunday. You're smiling. How'd you feel about what you saw?
The Florida Texas Tech Super Regional. My goodness, that one was wild, and it's a good thing that Texas Tech's colors are black and red. They're the black hat coming into this thing, without question. Obviously, I was impressed with what Mississippi State was able to do in going down to Norman. I mean, that's especially for Samantha Ricketts. You talk about emotions for her, the ability to go into your alma mater's building and win a super regional. And that was a kind of flawed Oklahoma team all year long. Obviously, the offense was great with Wells, but they just never had that top-notch pitching. And then Texas, they figured it out. And it's been interesting watching them throughout the season because I've just gotten this sense that and this happens with a team that makes a championship run and then brings back most of the team the next year. They have it in the back of their head, okay, we've done this. We don't need to be at 110% all the way through. And so it's felt like they've kind of played with their food all season. I mean, they didn't finish where they should have in the SEC. They make the SEC tournament run because I think they had their backs against the wall a little bit. And then, they lose the first game of the Super Regional against a hot Arizona State team, and they wake up and they get after it and finish out that Super Regional. So it'll be interesting to see where Texas is coming into this deal. I'll say this, the top half of this WCWS bracket is the tougher half, which sets up well for Nebraska in the bottom half. It's not going to be easy. I mean, this is the Women's College World Series. That top half between Texas, Tech, and Tennessee, really tough.
Offense this past weekend. What's funny is we were talking about the super regionals. Is that a concern? Offense, what we saw in the regional. It just shows that we said this yesterday on the show. It's such a weekend by weekend sport.
No doubt.
And it completely changes what you think of this team heading into the World Series than maybe what we thought going into the Supers.
No question about it. I mean, in talking with the Husker staff and some of the Husker players, I think there was a little bit of emotional fatigue after having to fly out to Penn State. You win that series, you win the Big Ten, fly back, you go to the Big Ten tournament, you fly all the way to the coast again. You win that, but you play 3 really good teams, 3 regional teams, and you win those games and you burn a lot of energy. And then you have all the excitement and all that comes with hosting a regional. They had a lot to deal with, and you had staffs, very deep pitching staffs that you had to deal with. And so that regional weekend, I think, was really complicated for this team. And there were some externalities that made it tougher than just the game on the field. And so once they got through that and the experience of a home weekend, all the fans, some of the pressure, I think everybody had a chance to take a big, deep breath and go, okay, now let's lock in on Oklahoma State. And so I'm hopeful that the team we saw against the Cowgirls is closer to the team that we see this weekend, and if it is, they're going to make a run.
Even still, to have the experience in the regional where not everything was perfect, it was a close ball game, you fought through it, that's a good experience going into this weekend.
Certainly, and especially where, let's be honest, the stretch run of the Big Ten was not challenging.
Yeah.
It was fairly easy in the stretch run of the Big Ten tournament, or in the Big Ten regular season, and then even in the tournament, you were able to pull away from Indiana. You were able to dominate UCLA. So this team really hadn't been challenged in the stretch run, And even though, South Dakota didn't have the talent level that could really push you, they were playing at a really high level for what they had and who they were. And then Grand Canyon, I mean, they were a 52-win team coming out here. They'd done a lot right. They had a lot of confidence. They had a good pitching staff. And so I think it was valuable, and I think that's experience. It's going to be valuable. In the World Series, the idea that you can win close games. You don't have to bludgeon people. It's okay to trail. I mean, we forget Saturday, Nebraska trailed 1-0, and they fought through it and they got the job done. So Rhonda said that the regional experience was a positive for him, and I tend to agree with that assessment.
We were talking yesterday on the show, Jordy getting hurt a couple seasons ago in Mexico, and she said it was the best thing that ever happened to her. And you take a step back and you realize, okay, she had last year, but it allowed her that extra year to get this team around her, to get Hannah and, Jensen's here to pitch alongside her. And it turns out that maybe she's right. Maybe the injury that you don't think of at the time, a few years later, when you look at it in retrospect, it has allowed Nebraska to put a team around her that is a World Series type team.
Well, yeah, and you mentioned just the idea of aligning her with the year of Alexis Jensen.
Yeah.
And the idea that they had two top-flight pitchers on the roster at the same time. I think that's the biggest thing. And then, yes, you get the best version of Jordy Fromm. You think of 2 years at OU, so much pressure, so much around her, and then she comes home, and there was the pressure around that as well. And there was a whole year to settle into that and get used to going to school here and get herself in the best mindset. And then, the two additions to this year's team, you look at players of the game in the Super Regional, you give Game 1's player of the game to Jessie Farrell, who you added this year. She had 5 RBI. And, Game 2 obviously goes to Hannah Core, because that was a dynamic performance by her, a complete performance by her. Defense, offense, power hitting, speed, the whole thing. And so the chance to play with her again, I think was really valuable. So you're right, man, it hurt in the moment, because you lost the opportunity to see Jordy with the Andrews sisters, with whom she was very close. But it probably set up the better opportunity this year.
How fired up is Hannah Core to get to go back to Oklahoma City this year with the role she's playing with this team? Because she's been a part of 3 national titles, but not with a role like this.
No, I think it's really important for her, and I think proves that she can be this sort of player, and she knew that she had that sort of player in her. I think there was a lot of this season where she had to build up to this. The first month of the year, her numbers were not very good. And it's because she was getting daily, day in, day out at bats for the first time in her career, and rebuilding that confidence to where, okay, I can take an 0 for 3 today. I just need to take a deep breath, lock in on tomorrow's pitcher, and get after it. So I'm sure this has been very rewarding for her to show, look, I'm not just somebody that has a jersey and pinch runs every game, once a game. I'm a factor in this lineup, and I'm a factor defensively for this team. So I would imagine it feels really good for her.
What's unique, all of the connections around the sport, Camenzind sisters and Casey Hoffman playing against Arkansas, their old team in the first World Series game. When you think of the connections there, we had the connections with Ruby and Jordy in this Super Regional. That's a neat storyline heading into this World Series.
Yeah, it just goes to show how small the world is in a lot of ways. And, I'm sure the idea of taking Arkansas to their first World Series was a motivating factor for Casey Hoffman and Lauren Camenzind and Hannah Camenzind. I'm sure they still have connections on that Arkansas team and people they're very happy for. Courtney Deifel was pretty good friends with Rhonda Revelle, so you have that relationship. Now I'm waiting for the first coach to say, I really don't like that Rhonda Revelle.
There's not one. I don't think.
I think I'm still waiting. But at the same time, there are relationships there because they're both Midwestern programs. I mean, even though Arkansas is in the SEC, they're more of a Northern SEC program. And so some of the challenges they face are some of the challenges Nebraska faces. And so, yeah, there are linkages there that'll, it'll be interesting to see what the Camenzinds do, or Hoffman for that matter.
We kind of chatted, I think, over the last couple of weeks about maybe the Lauren Camenzinds and even Ava Cusack and Jesse Farrell and maybe a little bit of slower times at the plate. But, boy, they got it going in that last game. How big do you think that maybe could be going into this week?
Well, I think it's huge because you have recent success, an important success. And I think it's especially big for Lauren Camenzind. Because, she's your 9-hitter. She's somebody who has been okay, good, but not somebody on whom you're relying for a whole lot offensively. And yet she strikes the blow that knocks out Oklahoma State and sends that thing to a run rule. So she goes into the Women's College World Series feeling good about herself. That doesn't mean she's going to get a hit every time she goes up, but she's in as good a mind frame as she can be going into this tournament. And so you feel like that concept that there's been a different hero. I mean, look, Jordy Fromm's the best player on this team. We all know that. We can stipulate to that. That's fine. But it feels like everybody's pitched in their little bit. Everybody's had that game or two where they really drove this thing. And even for somebody like Lauren, who's been in the 9 spot and hasn't had a huge year offensively, she still has a couple of things where she can feel really good about what she's done.
All right, we've got to get to a quick break, but much more coming up with Nate Rohr. Stick around on Sports Nightly.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow, who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
In the mood for a wild ride? Then enter the Nebraska Lottery's Pony Payout promotion. Until July 28th, when you enter non-winning Pony Payout scratch tickets online, you could win a 2026 Ford Mustang GT Fastback. Gallop over to a Nebraska Lottery retailer and play today. Ford Mustang is a trademark owned and licensed by Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company is not a sponsor of this promotion. Pony Payout top prize odds 1 in 120,000.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. it means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store. Only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody and the voice of Huskers softball, Nate Rohr. We continue our conversation as the Huskers head down to Oklahoma City.
When I think of Arkansas teams in years past, teams I've seen, I think power, I think home runs, very kind of similar to this team, 4 players that have 11 or more home runs, and then 2 pitchers, a lefty and a righty. So they'll show you a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I think it was a very balanced Arkansas team. This is not quite last year when it was Bree Ellis and then a bunch of good players around her. I think there's greater balance 1 through 9 in the lineup. I think they've got a nice balance to their pitching staff. Robin Herron's been a mainstay for them. Burnham's been a factor the last couple of years. So this feels like a very deep, relatively speaking, Arkansas team. Maybe not the top line. You know, there isn't a Megan Grant or a Jordy Fromm or a Nyesha Kennedy or whatever. But it just feels like a really solid, really productive team. 1 through 9, 2 pitchers you got to deal with. It's going to be a challenge, no question. I mean, Arkansas has kind of lived in that second cut of the SEC, and that's where they've been for about a decade. You know, if you think of the first cut as some mishmash of Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida in years. You know, Arkansas almost every year has been right under them, been right there. And so you wonder where they are mentally, emotionally. First trip to the Women's College World Series. They've been banging on this door, and they finally walked through. What are they going to do with this? Where are they? Are they satisfied with just getting here? You know, we'll see.
Pitching wise, we've talked so much about it. They've been spectacular, Jensen and Jordy. What do you get a sense of what they might do? I mean, you got to probably going to go with Jordy, right, to start this thing?
I would think so. I wonder, the question is when and how do you use Alexis Jensen? Because your default would be Jordy's pitched at this level. Jordy's a senior. Let's see how far she can go. I think it'd be very tempting to have Jensen on a short leash in that second game. Putting myself in Rhonda Revell's visor for a minute. I mean, winning the first game's critical. Winning the second game's really important. I think you start Jordy game 1. I think you start Alexis Jensen game 2, no matter who it's against. But you have Jordy Fromm ready to come in very quickly, which was kind of the plan in the Super Regional. I mean, they were putting Jordy in that game in the 5th inning, no matter what. And if that meant a 3-inning outing, so be it. As it turned out, it was a 3-out outing. It was a short outing. But, Jordy was going to pitch that game from the 5th inning on. And so I would suspect the pitching plan for the first 2 games looks pretty similar to that. And then from there, you just let it fly.
We're waiting, I guess, for that freshman aspect to creep up, but nothing tells us from what we've seen that Alexis can't pitch at an incredibly high level at the World Series to a level that's going to win games. I mean, what we saw in the Super, what we saw in the regional, there's no reason that you don't go out there with Alexis in a game 2 and have full confidence you're going to win the game.
No question. I mean, look, this is somebody who's pitched against the best. She's pitched against a Texas. She was the winning pitcher in the Texas Tech game. And so she has faced the best the nation can offer. And she was the winning pitcher in 2 of the UCLA games. So you feel very confident about putting her out there. It's almost, it's the first world problem of feeling like you have 2 really good options and one option might be better than the other, but you feel good about both of them. Whereas, sometimes you're going, oh, geez, we're worried about running the wheels off of Jordy Fromm, but we also don't know what Jensen can do. Alexis Jensen can go to the Women's College World Series and win games and win them, not just happen to be the pitcher who gets the win. She can go down there and throw a 5-inning outing where she gives up 2 hits and no runs. I think that's entirely within her capability. And so that dynamic will be something Rhonda will have to consider. On the flip side, you've got Jordy Fromm, who's pitched so well on the stage.
Has won it twice.
Yeah. And where before you might have been worried, okay, how much gas does she have in the tank? She could, in theory, she could throw every pitch for Nebraska. That's not how you would want to attack it, but, you can pair her workload earlier in her college career to this year. She has way more innings than you'd need to get through the Women's College World Series. You just feel like you have a great option in Jensen as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've been asked this a lot starting on Sunday. With no Oklahomas, does Nebraska become the home team with the way that Nebraska travels? And I keep getting messages that OU fans are pulling for Jordy and Hannah,
Yeah, I think there will be, I would hesitate to say that it's totally, Nebraska becomes the darling. Honestly, I think the winner of this 8:30 game Thursday gets that title. Because remember, Arkansas is only 3.5 hours away. And so plenty of their fans will be making the trip over, I would imagine. But with that said, I expect a huge Husker contingent. I expect a lot of OU fans to be pulling for Jordy. I expect we're going to look in the Oklahoma in the crowd and see a lot of crimson number 98 jerseys out there. I am sure there are plenty of Oklahoma people who are happy for Hannah too, and happy now that she has gotten her chance, that she has succeeded in this way. Here's the other thing: you just go down the list. They're not rooting for Texas.
Absolutely
I can tell you that.
Absolutely
They're not rooting for
We know you're not rooting for Texas, Nate. Last time we chatted.
How about that? They could get a shot at them. That would be about the dream scenario. It's funny. My very first Nebraska softball play-by-play game was in that stadium, Big 12 tournament, 2004, against Texas.
Wow.
So, and then my second one was against OU. So
wow.
So there's
full circle.
Hey, building off the most hated athletic program.
Yeah.
We got into the ugliest mascots the other day. We said there's no doubt who Nate would pick. It's Bevo.
It's Bevo. Yeah. The only way I want to see Bevo is between 2 buns and slathered in barbecue sauce. And I was hopeful, when Nebraska played them in 2009 in the Big 12 championship, the Huskers would win and that could be arranged. But yeah, bring Bevo to Oklahoma City. If you win, you get to take him home. You lose, he's on a spit, and we're eating him at 10:30 with some champagne.
He's not a Texas fan.
No. You think?
No.
Let me ask you this. How fun is this for you? You haven't been here since 2013 in a World Series, and for you, this is really fun.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, look, this program has battled to get back to this place, and in a way, this is even a step up because, like I said, 2013, it was nice, it was fun, but you went down there going, okay, a lot of things are going to have to go right if we're going to stick around here. Whereas in 2026, you go down there, I go down there with an expectation. This team's going to be there for a while. it's also going to be really fun for me to see how that stadium and how the event has developed. Because, you know, in 2013, the stadium that I walked into was still pretty similar to the one that I walked into in 2004. And it was, you know, it was still a big deal. It still mattered. It was still great, but it didn't quite have the interest and the enthusiasm around it that has built over the last, you know, 13 years, to where this event has at least come closer in parity to the Men's College World Series. And of course, being from Nebraska and living in Omaha, you know, that's always your standard. You know, how does this compare to Omaha? And even though on TV, the women's series tends to do better, I got to be honest with you, I was a little bit let down by Oklahoma City in terms of how the community supported the series when Nebraska was down there. I want to see how that's developed in the last 13 years, because I've got a feeling it's much better.
It is. It is.
Okay.
It definitely is. I mean, you can attest to it too.
Massive. I mean, it's 13,000 surround you. It's
they've got
special.
like a market outside of it. I mean, it's there's a lot going on around it. You don't have to complain about the booth in this one.
No, okay, looking forward to that.
Right?
Yeah, I think the windows do open now. There was one year there were temporary windows, plastic windows, but they fixed that when the booth was. If the first year I was there, it was low. It was on like the first level, but now you're up.
You're up
a little
now.
bit.
See, when I was going down there, and 13 was the same way. They had a giant concrete roof over the home plate stands, and you just sat out at a table. It was me and McLaughlin sitting at a table, you know, at the top of the stands. And I mean, it was fine. You were covered up from the weather and everything hooked up okay, but you know, it wasn't a booth. And it was fine. It was perfectly acceptable. But I suspect everything is much better around there now.
Last thing, we had tons of texts come in for you over the last, couple of weeks. Sorry we didn't pass them along, but I will be there this weekend. I'll pass them along to you. But a lot of people, shout outs like Jordy's great uncle and aunt texted in that they were listening way on the East Coast. Lots of people that said you're great. They love listening to you and giving shout outs. So we'll pass them along to you this week so you can get them in your shout outs.
That'd be great. That'd be great. You know, I love doing that. It's a ripoff of Carey, to be honest with you. But, you know, and Harry always said I did it because, you know, I would say somebody's name on the air and it would make them feel like the president. But it's also just great to hear, you know, whether it's somebody who listens to us every week, like our pal Art, like Allison Medler, like the folks in the Brangs in Minnesota,
Art in Los Angeles.
Yeah, our boy Art. Whether it's those people or people just, you know, sampling us for the first time, you know, they're a part of this thing. The fan. We've seen the crowds at Bowling. We've seen how this team has been followed, and the fans have helped this thing forward, and maybe that's my little nod to them.
Sometimes, especially when you're doing a solo broadcast, you forget people are on the other end of the microphone.
Right.
You get lost in it, and that's why, like, when you do it long enough, you don't feel any nerves or anything because it feels like it's just you. Yeah. And the reality is there's thousands of people on the other end of that microphone, and every once in a while they come out and touch you on the arm and say, "Hey, we're here."
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's my digital way of doing it. You know, in the Women's College World Series, like you said, the facilities are much better. So I feel good that we're going to be hooked up. But sometimes on those Saturdays when you're on a multi-field complex, sometimes I just want the shout-outs to know we're still connected and working.
Hey, and shout out to Froggy and a lot of our great affiliates going to be putting this on the air coming up this week.
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, B107.3 here in Lincoln, and also KLIN. When it doesn't conflict with baseball, but happy that the affiliates, whether here in Lincoln or elsewhere around the state, I'm glad we can share this with them because, you know, Husker sports is the one thing that binds this state together. And I know growing up in Beatrice, I listened to the games. And so, you know, if it's a fan out there, Beatrice, Broken Bow, Ogallala, whatever, the fact they'll have a chance to listen to games, that's pretty cool.
Great stuff as always. Hey, have fun, enjoy it. And
I got a feeling I will.
yeah, well, and we'll be looking forward to listening to your call. I'll actually be listening to it live in the booth, hopefully. So
Okay.
I'm excited about that. But I know a lot of folks really excited to get to hear you call this one. So
Fantastic.
best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. I hope this is a long stay.
Me too. Again, the voice of Husker softball, Nate Rohr, here with us on Sports Nightly. Got to get to a break. More coming up right after this.
Applied Connective Technologies may be an award-winning IT company, but since day one, our passion, commitment, and top priority have always been about people. Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, President of Applied Connective, helping Nebraska businesses and organizations to operate at their peak potential. We're proud to offer world-class support in the areas of managed IT and cybersecurity, phones, surveillance, door access control, cabling, audio, video, and more. To hear what customers say about working with us or for a free technology consultation, head to appliedconnective.com today.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, a professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store. Only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Welcome back. Final segment here of hour number 1 of Sports Nightly. And Nate Rohr, he's a treat.
He's
one of a kind.
He does a great job. I saw him. He's the one-man band in the booth. I got the chance to see be in the press box for the first time at Bowling Stadium.
And be in Bowling Stadium for the first time.
Yes, that was fun, but getting a chance to watch him up close and personal call a game for the first time was a cool experience. See how every broadcaster does their thing. Everybody's different.
Yeah, and again, shout out Cassidy, who runs our social media. She actually took up the GoPro responsibilities from you this weekend. And a lot of people quote tweeting and, shouting out Nate for getting to have this moment too, because as much as people get attached to teams, they get attached to the broadcasters around here. So really happy for Nate. He's been a part of Husker softball for a long time.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, I see the numbers. Camden has the numbers as the game goes on. He can look at the live listeners and baseball, softball, volleyball, some of the other sports. I mean, they get some pretty sizable numbers.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here in hour number 1, but lots to come. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
Hey, everybody. I'm Christopher Sullivan-Diaz, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. University of Nebraska men's basketball coach Fred Hoiberg announced Tuesday the hiring of veteran college strength coach Michael Chapman as director of strength and conditioning for the Husker men's basketball program. Sammy Bland, Hannah Camenzind, Jesse Farrell, Jordy Fromm, and Casey Hoffman all earned college sports communicators academic all-district honors, the organization announced on Tuesday. Nebraska soccer is set to host a World Cup watch party on Friday, June 12th, the team announced on Tuesday. The Team USA match against Paraguay is set to kick off at 8 p.m. Central. There will be various pre-match activities, including street soccer and games and family-friendly activities. Finally, the Pirates are hosting the Cubs, where Pittsburgh leads 7-1 at the bottom of the fifth, with the Cubs losing 9 straight in a row, looking to make it 10. Tough break for the second-best team in Chicago. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next right here in the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Barr set the letters of 2-1. This one turned on into right center field. This is down. That's going to score Stokes easy. Worthley on his way to third. Now he's going to be waved home. The throw will be cut off. The throw to the plate, not in time. Chase Sanderson, what can't you do tonight?
So now a pair in scoring position. Second and third, 2 outs. Already 4 runs in this inning. And the 1-0. And Camenzind tries it. Deep left field. All the way back. It's gone. It's gone. Take a ride on that one. All the way to Oklahoma City. Nebraska leads it. 9-1. Nebraska 9. Oklahoma State 1. Bottom of the 5th. Runner at first, 2 outs. Jordy Fromm with a 1-2. Godwin swings, and they appeal to first. They rule. She went around. Strike 3, and Nebraska is going to the Women's College World Series in 2026.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Do you have allergies, Kyle?
Some years I do. The eyes are really bad some years, but this year, no. Maybe in Nebraska, I don't get allergies.
Maybe you moved into a place you don't battle allergies.
You know,
I do. And I think they say that you develop them every 21 years. Is that right?
You're talking to the wrong guy.
Well, so I'm battling them bad, so I'm sporting my glasses today for those on the YouTube stream. But I tried to put my contacts in, and it was a no-go this morning. So I think I'm allergic to the cottonwood trees when the white stuff starts to come.
Have you looked to see what's higher than normal? Is it the cottonwood trees?
I haven't.
Because you can get a live tally of what the pollens, some of the allergens are like, the levels.
All I know is that in May, I battle this. And what's crazy is I'm also allergic to the wheat dust when they start plowing in Oklahoma. So, which is crazy. My parents or my family, they all have wheat. But I think they had to plow a little bit earlier this year. So I'm hoping, so I go from having allergies here for one thing, and then I usually go home about this time to Oklahoma, and then I'm allergic to something else when I get down there. But I'm hoping that they plowed wheat a little bit earlier so that I don't have the same issues when I go down there. But yeah,
that's rough.
every year.
I had no idea you wore glasses until today.
We've been working together for a year.
No idea.
It's almost your year anniversary. And you said, since when do you wear glasses?
I had no idea.
Like, I just got a prescription yesterday.
I'm trying to look up some of the allergens that are high. Mold spores are high. I don't see wheat anywhere. But
well, no, I have the wheat in Oklahoma.
Wheat in Oklahoma? So what is it? It's the cottonwood trees here?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
Have you ever had one of the, I have, the allergy tests where they put the little samples in your back and they test what grows into a bump and what doesn't to see what you're allergic to? Have you ever done that?
No, that sounds terrible.
So it's just like if you go to allergy doctor, they have all the mini samples of like dust mites, this, that, and the other, and they put like a little sample in your back to see what your body reacts to see what it's like a basic allergy test. So you
how long does
exactly.
It last?
It doesn't last long at all. I mean, and then some samples itch a little bit more than others. That just means that, okay, they've narrowed down what you're allergic to, essentially.
Yeah, well,
you should do that.
That's why I'm wearing the glasses today. So
again,
you learn something new about me every day. Well, not every day, but you learn something new today.
Just about every day. It was a beautiful day today, by the way.
Yeah.
It is. It's just fantastic here in Nebraska. The weather outside, I feel bad because you're going through it right now, but it's a beautiful time of year.
And it's about to get hot, though. It's always hot in Oklahoma City.
But that's okay. It doesn't. I'm used to some killer humidity. It's a little humid outside and it gets hot, but this is good.
Okay, well, I wanted to dive into this because another kind of big topic I feel like that's been blowing up my social media is your boy Greg Sankey. And they've had their SEC spring meetings. We just went through the Big Ten spring meetings. And, he's kind of been quotable here over the last few days. And we're in this big debate over expanding the college football playoff. And the Big Ten has been pretty adamant they want to go to 24. ACC, Big 12 agrees with the Big Ten. But Greg Sankey he's pretty adamant against the 24 teams. I think the most he wants to go to is 16. But what's crazy is that there's been some polls come out, and I think specifically Brett Murphy polled all of the SEC ADs, and the majority of them also want more teams. So
yes, and I remember listening to, I think, Andy Staples' podcast. It might get, they're having their SEC meetings in Destin, I think this week. It might be, there might be some friction there between Sankey and his constituents, right? He works for the school presidents, but you think of it this way: if you're an SEC coach and you're an SEC AD, what's one way to get fans and boosters off your back? That's to make a college football playoff, right? Mm-hmm. The one way to do that is to have a little bit of an easier path. The way that that coaches get hired and fired, especially in the SEC, you want more access to the college football playoff. If you're the head coach at, Ole Miss is probably a bad example because they made it last year. Ole Miss, Florida, who's got a guy in year one, and Arkansas, who's got a brand new head coach. Like, those are Auburn. You want better access to the college football playoff for job security. So if you're a coach and you're an AD, you think of it from their lens. Yeah, I want a 24-team playoff because that gives me more job security in a sense. Now, if you're the Alabamas and the Georgias of the world, making a 24-team playoff isn't necessarily going to guarantee you job security. Making it to a semifinal or a championship game is going to guarantee you job security. But for some of those teams in the middle of the pack in the SEC where the pressure is so high and the resources aren't as great as the top-end teams in the league, I want a 24-team playoff.
You want a 24-team playoff?
I do, because selfishly, whatever gives Nebraska an easier path to being on the stage of a college football playoff. I think it'll be sad to see the championship games eventually go. I think there's a little tug of war, especially from the SEC, of, hey, we're under a contract for this game with networks, and there's a lot of money at stake with the championship games. They make a lot of money off the championship games. So I think there'll be a sentimental value that's attached to those, that once those goes away. But if you replace them with playoff games, I think we'll eventually get over it. I think there's a sentimental value to bowl season, which, I mean, the last couple of years, bowls, the Music City Bowl and things like that, there's not a whole lot more sentimental value attached to those because players opt out and players don't necessarily want to play in those games. But that's going to take a huge hit to the bowl inventory that ESPN has. What are some of the teams that don't make the 24-team playoff? Do they even have bowl games anymore outside of the playoff if you're playing it? And, you do have more access now for the group of 6 schools if you have a 24-team. Those in the American Athletic, the Sun Belt, they have more access to it. Do they eventually move to a group of 6 playoff that's aside from the 24-team? There's just a lot of things that I think could be decided. I understand both avenues of it, though, Jess. I understand that it waters down November in the regular season. You have teams that have 9, 8 wins. Like Iowa last year is a playoff team, right? You think of all these 8-win teams and 9-win teams that are going to make the playoff that wouldn't in years past. Does it water down the regular season? I get both sides of it.
See, on the flip side of that, I think it could still make November relevant for some teams that maybe lost 3 games early in the season.
Yeah.
You know, that you could still potentially get into the playoffs.
I think it makes more games relevant. It makes the Iowa Northwestern game in November more relevant to an actual national picture. I think there is something to be said for that. You know, I think we're heading in this direction. I think when Troy was sitting in this seat, like you said, everyone's polling in this direction except for one league that has not come out publicly to say that they're for it. And
but one person, the main guy in charge of the league, but it sounds like a lot of the coaches and
well, here's the thing:
ADs.
if the school presidents say, "Hey, Greg, we want this," it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Roger Goodell works for the 32 owners in the NFL. It's the same sort of model.
But you'd think the presidents, if they're getting enough pressure from ADs and coaches, will eventually
We'll do it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we're heading in this direction. I don't necessarily know. I'm just looking at it through the lens of Nebraska. What gets them there? What's the easiest path to get them back to the national spotlight? It's this, right?
But Nebraska can't get there until the SEC gets there. Because if the SEC doesn't agree, then we're not going to get there.
Yeah, but I think I'm saying is I think the SEC will eventually get there. I think Greg Sankey doesn't have this unilateral power that he's going to hold up.
He thinks he does.
The entirety of college football because, again, you work for somebody. We all work for somebody. Greg Sankey works for somebody. So if the networks, I don't think ESPN loves the idea. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
ESPN probably hates the idea because they lose the rights of the contract, I think, when it gets above 14, right? So Fox gets a bid at some games, maybe NBC gets a bid at some of these games. So it changes the network inventory and what that looks like. So I think Greg and the SEC and ESPN are very tight-knit. I think those are two avenues that do not like the thought of a 2014, because it takes ESPN is bowl season. Right? That's a lot of money in bowl season and the amount of games they air through bowl season. What does that look like for ESPN?
But it's already kind of becoming wah, wah, the other games.
People watch it. People watch the games. Like, that's the thing is we could sit and make fun of the Idaho Potato Bowl, but people are sitting and every bar has the game on. If we might not be watching the game, but it's on in the background.
Vegas, gambling.
100%.
Yeah.
That's always an aspect of it.
But again, the messaging has been it's probably going to happen soon, or we're going to hear some announcement on it. But now his messaging is that he doesn't think a decision will be made, at least in the SEC meetings this week.
I think the thought of a 16-team playoff is dead.
Yeah.
Right. I think we're going to stick where we're at now with a 12-teamer.
I don't. It's funny. It's like it's 24 or bust, but nobody wants 16.
Nobody wants 16.
What's wrong with 16?
Besides Greg Sankey. Right.
Yeah.
So the thought of hedging your bet and going in between, I think that's dead. I think we thought when we first heard the 2014 playoff, we thought it was just incredibly ridiculous. Everyone had this visceral reaction to it. That has simmered down, and I think everyone realizes that every year everybody's coaching for their job, and the more access we have, the better.
When you talk about the teams outside the Power Four having opportunities, I think people are against that. And
I think the group of 6 should have their own playoff.
I agree.
I don't necessarily know if the same money's going to be involved in it, but I think if you have and maybe that starts earlier. And
maybe
then
that's the bowl.
The
that
top
replaces
2 teams,
some of the bowl stuff.
That could replace some of the ESPN inventory that is missed out with bowl season. The top 4 teams in that group of 6 playoff, if they started earlier in the season, maybe make the 2014 playoff, but that's a lot of, I don't know how necessarily that would work, and you would really severely cut into the regular season. But I think eventually we're looking that Power Fours are probably just going to branch off and do their own thing. I think eventually, sooner rather than later, the whole Super League thought, at least for football.
It's just, again, we've been having this conversation since 2020, 2021 about finding to a spot where we can settle and it'd be normal. But it's like every year we're still having this conversation.
Yeah, I think and when we get to a 2014 playoff, I think there's going to be, what's the next step to that? What is it going to look like?
Just the settling of where college sports are and is college football going to branch off and do their own thing? That's still speculation.
And that's why these spring meetings, they have so much more around them than they've usually had. The 5-for-5 eligibility rule. The future of college athletics is in the hands of these meetings. It feels like there's a lot of heavy stuff that's being discussed.
Well, then another thing that has been brought up about the rules, like every conference has their own rules, and just doesn't seem like that probably needs to be universal.
I think it's the level playing field in which we recruit, in which we tamper, in which the transfer portal, like tampering's a thing. Like let's get over it, right?
Yeah.
Especially in football. How do we make this universal like the NFL? How do we get guys under contract? I know there's a pushback of student athletes being employees. Is that eventually something that happens? That's going to take a lot of tough conversations.
All right. It's probably going to fill a lot of summer content time. I can tell you that.
I think so. Yeah, I'm kind of sick of it. I need games.
Yeah, you don't like this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I understand why it's important, but I just can't wait to kick off games and talk about games.
Hearing about what I don't even know how many days it is, but coming up in a couple weeks from now, we'll know the ruling on the NIL stuff and the third-party stuff and the entities,
Again, it's not just Nebraska.
Associated entities, all that kind of stuff. So
there's a lot of schools that are in trouble right now with this. It's not just Nebraska.
That's a big ruling too. So buckle up. We're going to still talk about it a lot.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Get used to it.
I'll do it for our audience.
All right. Got to get to a break. We're going to talk some baseball coming up next. Kyle had a chance to talk with Dylan Carey following the announcement of the hosting of the regional and the field coming up this weekend for Husker baseball. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with a home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In the mood for a wild ride? Then enter the Nebraska Lottery's Pony Payout promotion. Until July 28th, when you enter non-winning Pony Payout scratch tickets online, you could win a 2026 Ford Mustang GT Fastback. Gallop over to a Nebraska Lottery retailer and play today. Ford Mustang is a trademark owned and licensed by Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company is not a sponsor of this promotion. Pony Payout top prize odds 1 in 120,000.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store. Only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. I got that down now, Kyle.
Yeah, you know it. And it did not take you long either. Kudos to you. It's almost like you're a professional at this.
Josh went on paternity leave. It was one read that I had memorized. He came back, and I got another one.
You think conspiracy theory that Josh changed it while he was on his paternity leave? He made some calls to let me mess with Jess? I think that's a possibility.
You would do something like that, not Josh.
You know what? I would.
But anyway, shout out to Akrs. It's okay if you change the read. I can memorize things pretty easily. Do you?
I do. That's pretty much my entire fall is memorizing depth charts.
True.
I have a good photographic memory I built over time.
Oh, nice. Okay, another kind of hot topic. We're just hitting all the hot topics here.
Have you ever shopped at Hot Topic? You remember that store in the mall?
Yeah.
That was something.
Don't they still exist?
I don't know if Hot Topics are still around. Maybe Josh can Google that.
Yeah, Josh is a Hot Topic shopper.
Maybe I could Google that.
I feel like Duke would be a Hot Topic shopper.
Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe
I could see Chris. Yeah. He probably had his emo phase at some point. Isn't that kind of like an emo store?
I don't know.
Hot Topic. You get like just random stuff you can buy at Hot Topic. There's one in Lincoln, actually.
There you go. You should go get something from there. Buy something.
Yeah.
But, okay, so the hot topic was the Big Ten baseball tournament location. A lot of people complaining about the attendance of
Are they, or is it like 10 people?
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Oregon?
But I think, and then maybe Nebraska folks responding to it and it maybe becoming in defense of the location. But I don't know, where else would you have it? Vegas?
I mean, there's probably, you could play it in Chicago or something, but you're playing in the home of the College World Series.
Yeah.
You have the gem of a venue for college. You have the cathedral of baseball that you're playing
If you're UCLA fans, why wouldn't you want your team to have experience? You're the number one team in the country.
The dimensions of the ballpark,
you very well could be playing there in, 3 weeks. Why would you not want your team to have experience playing in that ballpark?
Well, the head coach said that we don't want it to go anywhere. I think the contract's up in 27. They're going to renew it. I mean, this is just all Twitter fodder. That's people. What I noticed, and I said this yesterday, my timeline is full of complaining.
It is.
It's just whether it's Texas Tech, Florida, whether it's the Big Ten tournament venue, whether it's there's a lot of different things that are happening, and that's just a lot of what people like to do, which is fine. But I think this is a controversy that is not even a controversy. I don't even think anybody else. I don't think people that make these decisions are thinking twice about where this tournament should be. Omaha is a great city. I get that Nebraska has a distinct advantage with crowd, but if you put it anywhere else, like you put it in Chicago, if Northwestern, is Purdue going to fill that place out? Like, I don't understand. If we put it somewhere else, you're probably going to have the same issues. Unless you put it if you put it in the West Coast, then you're just catering to a small group of schools.
Yeah,
and it's going to be empty anyway.
Yeah, that's my thought. Is like, okay, you're going to move it where? But I just thought it was just ridiculous that I couldn't believe people were even putting that opinion out there. But you know what people are not complaining about around here?
What's that?
Is Husker baseball hosting a regional for the first time since 2008. You had a chance to chat with Dylan Carey about that following the selection show.
All right, the Huskers hosting a regional for the first time since 2008, the number 13 national seed. Dylan Carey joins us now, the star Husker shortstop. DC, the reaction in that room, you guys are excited, ready to go. What's the feeling like now that you know you're going to host a regional and you have the field set?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a goal of ours since the beginning of the year to host a regional. The easiest way to Omaha is by hosting. So, yeah, happy to see us as a 13 seed and get after South Dakota State. We played them earlier this year, so happy with the opportunity and excited to get after it.
You in your final year of college baseball, what does it mean to sort of go out? I know you got a lot of work to do here in the postseason, but go out checking off a pretty prominent box and hosting a regional.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing. It's been something that, I've been a part of for 4 years now. So to get it done my senior year and host a regional and have that opportunity is beyond a blessing, and I'm so thankful for that time and the opportunity to be with these guys on the field and grow our culture and grow this team and just go get some wins this weekend.
How about the chemistry of this team? You're one of the leaders of this group, being the shortstop, being the vet. How close you feel like this group is heading into the postseason?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're at our peak right now. I mean, this team has battled through so much this year, and to have the opportunity to host and to continue to grow in that. Yeah, I'm just excited for these guys and excited to get after it.
Where do you think this team has grown the most? Maybe I could think back to Arlington and then Arizona, the Auburn series. Where do you think this team has taken the biggest jump? Because it's been so consistent all year long.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's multiple spots in the season, but I think the biggest jump we had was when we dealt with failure against Ohio State and being able to respond the way we did. It just shows who we are and what we can do.
For you come into the season, chip on the shoulder, you feel like that chip grows a little bit bigger once it's NCAA tournament time?
Oh, yeah. Postseason baseball is the best baseball, so definitely, have to have heightened awareness and ready to rock, but yeah, definitely a chip on our shoulder.
How about the support of Husker Nation, setting some attendance records this year, having them behind your back? I mean, it's going to be loud, proud environment. How much is that going to help you guys?
Yeah, just hoping to break more records this weekend. We're excited.
Yeah, so South Dakota State, that's the matchup. You guys played them earlier this year. What do you kind of remember from that matchup?
Not a lot. We'll have to go look back at some videos, see what we got going. But just, those guys, they're a great program, great team. We've played them pretty much every year I've been here. So just another opportunity to go play some ball against a good ball club.
DC, Dylan Carey, appreciate the time and best of luck here this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I've talked to Dylan a lot.
Hey, he's like a regular on Sports Nightly.
He's
him and Nate the last few weeks.
We should start paying him NIL to come on this show. No, it was great to chat with Dylan. He's psyched, and this is his last go-around, right? He plays with that chip on his shoulder. He never thought he'd be back here at Nebraska. He remembers that phone call that he had with Will Bolt after he didn't get drafted about coming back and having some things to prove, Jess, and he has proved a lot. He's had a career season, and they're going to need him to have a big postseason. He knows what it's like. He knows what it's like to dogpile in the Big Ten tournament in Omaha in the postseason. He knows what the look of defeat feels like. In the regional last year, did not end well in the Chapel Hill regional, and now he gets a chance to make some history and play on his home field where this team has won 23 of 24 games.
Did you have to interrupt his Chick-fil-A to do that interview?
I did. So Will Jeske was the one who interrupted his Chick-fil-A, and then he handed Will his Chick-fil-A box, and then Will dropped it. So I said, Dylan, I hope you like your chicken sandwich mangled, because Will fumbled his Chick-fil-A. So
did Will apologize?
I don't think he did, no.
I mean, how does that even happen?
Well, he was juggling some things, Will was. And he dropped his Chick-fil-A. But Dylan, I think he had a nice meal regardless. But it was good to chat with him, and I think he probably sick of me by now.
Well, appreciate Dylan. Again, regular appearance here on Sports Nightly. I think he's made like 5 here in the last.
Ben got him to start the year in here in studio.
I think Nick talked to him at some point. So
a lot of the coaches saw this area for the first time, like Rob Childress, Mike Sirianni, Lance Harvell. They don't come up here a whole lot. Will comes up here because he does the show here, but the players are up here for media days. But a lot of them saw it for the first time, so I was giving them a little bit of a tour as they came through here.
Great stuff. All right, another break. Coming up next, we're going to talk some Husker softball. A couple more interviews I was able to get on Saturday. My days are all messed up right now. That Thursday night regional or Thursday night super regional,
which turned into
totally threw me off.
It turned into essentially a Friday through Sunday series, but you didn't have to play Sunday.
Yeah, but I had a chance to catch up with the Camenzinds and then also Alina Felix. What a moment for her, the senior captain, getting that pinch hit situation. So we're going to hear those interviews coming up next here on Sports Nightly.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store, only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Couple segments left for us with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody, and so exciting. What an exciting week for Husker fans as Husker baseball hosting and Nebraska softball headed down to Oklahoma City and the Women's College World Series. We talked a little bit about this with Nate about Lauren Camenzind and the big home run she hit. I think that was just absolutely massive for her heading into this week.
Yeah, I mean, just think of, and again, the connection with them and Arkansas and that whole deal will be massive. But Lauren's big home run in that 7-run fifth inning, we were following it along, and the baseball booth, it was 4-1, look down, look up, it was a 9-1. I had to live report the scores because I was doing a scoreboard as that inning was happening, and I reported 4-1 and then 5-1, and then I did a few other scores, and I looked and said, oh my goodness, they're 3 outs away from Oklahoma City.
Yeah, they broke it open there. And Hannah Camenzind has been super consistent. I mean, she's been a huge bright spot at the plate.
Yeah, offensively, and what she did inside the circle in moments this year, they're the backbone of this team. When you think X factors, you think of the Camenzind sisters and what they may do in a World Series.
And 2 Nebraska kids amongst a slew of them on this team that meant a lot to this group to get this program back to the Women's College World Series. I had a chance to catch up with both of them together following that win over Oklahoma State. All right, here with the Camenzinds, Lauren and Hannah, as you guys are headed to Oklahoma City. What are the emotions like right now?
It's just a crazy feeling. I mean, this is what you dream of a little girl, and this is what our team's dreamed of for 2 years now. So I'm just really proud of everybody. We stuck through it pitch by pitch and with each other every time. So now that it's here, we're just so excited to celebrate.
How about that last strike? You guys get to run out on the field and celebrate together. What was going through your mind? How were you feeling then?
I don't know. Honestly, it just felt surreal and just so awesome just to look at everybody, see the tears coming down people's faces, how excited we are, and just all of our hard work paying off.
It's such a storybook ending, as Coach Ravel keeps talking about. All these Nebraska kids transferred back. So what was it like for you guys to get to do it for the state of Nebraska in front of all these Nebraska fans?
Oh, it's so awesome. Our fans are great. I mean, just to see how much it's grown the past 2 years and just see them even travel with us when we go on the road. I mean, our team appreciates them so much.
Pretty special to represent the state.
Oh, it means the world to us. I know it means the world to Lauren and I, our team. Something we don't take for granted, and I don't think I'll ever get over it.
How about for you guys to get to do this together, make a childhood dream come true?
I mean, yeah, we literally would sit on the floor and watch Nebraska the last time they went, go to the World Series, and now to think that it's us and doing it together. I mean, a lot of people don't get to play college softball, and to have two of us at the same time, it's everything we've ever dreamed of.
How special is it to get to share it with her?
Oh, it's awesome. I'm just so proud of her. I'm so proud of this team. It's just incredible to get to do it and then get to do it with her on top of it.
Take me into the 5th inning. I mean, you guys had an explosion. You hit the home run. How good did that feel to get that home run?
Really good. I mean, I was hitting balls hard all weekend and just couldn't find the spot. And I just kept reminding myself that, like, my time's going to come, and just get your swing off when the pitch gets over the plate.
What went into the preparation for you guys to be so successful offensively this weekend against a really good pitcher?
Honestly, just getting our swings off again. And that was the big message, is just make them feel us, swing hard, and we're going to make mistakes. We're going to swing and miss. We're going to get out, and just reminding ourselves to stick with it and just get your swing off.
You guys a year ago were devastated on this stage, exact same moment. How does it feel to have set out to do this, get back to this stage and have a different outcome?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I remember last year when it happened, we just kept reminding ourselves, like, we don't want to be that person again. And, like, this year, and even starting in the summer after we got beat out, like, every day was working towards not letting that happen again.
How rewarding is it that it paid off a year-long kind of process?
So rewarding. It's been the best season ever, just to see how many things that didn't go our way last year, and to see us come back in some of those same positions this year and be on the other side of it has just been the most awesome thing to watch.
Nebraska's headed back to Oklahoma City in the Women's College World Series. How does that sound to you guys?
Oh, so amazing. So amazing. Awesome.
Well, congratulations and best of luck, because I know you guys want more than just this, right?
Yes. Yep. Thank you.
On Thursday, I'm just again so messed up again. As we talked to Lauren and Hannah Camenzind, I had a chance to talk
to the whole family tree.
Yeah, their dad on Thursday for Sports Nightly, and that was also really, really neat to get his perspective as the dad that's been a part of this ride. He
had the interesting jersey.
Yeah.
He had the Camenzind on the back, but their numbers, one on one side,
2-9,
one on the other. So that was, but the 2 and the 9 were separated enough where it didn't look like 29.
29, yeah.
He's got to be thrilled. I mean, how cool is that to have 2 twin daughters that are playing in a World Series and playing on the same team, and not just on the same team, but like a significant part of the team. That's got to be next level as a dad.
Yeah. Well, and they said that jersey, it was specially made for Christmas this year.
They had it made for him, correct?
For him for Christmas. But he made a post there on, I think on Friday or Saturday after the win that said, fueled by the whole dang state. And I mean, it's true. And the way that a lot of the people got to hang out and celebrate with the team. And it's just, it's really special that so many of these players grew up either playing together or against each other in high school and club ball. And then all those parents were sitting up in the stands together. So they, you kind of forget that aspect of it, that a lot of these parents too were sitting up there in the stands together, getting to know each other.
I think it's cool. They all came back to the Huskers, right? They're all Nebraska, going somewhere else and coming back and being Huskers towards the end of your career. I think that's what the special part of it is. It's become full circle for that family.
Well, and the Camenzinds were huge fans of the Edwards sisters, because they were twins and pitcher catcher, and Hannah and Lauren grew up pitcher catcher, and so it just reminds you again that the way that they're signing these autographs, that you never know what that's going to do for a future player that wants to come back home and play for this program.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of autographs that they have to sign, right? There's a lot of fans of this program. I think it's cool to see the amount of youth softball players that wear their uniforms to the game. You see quite literally the next generation of softball players that they're signing autographs for, and the way that they look at these players. I think they realize at this moment in time the impact that they make on the next generation of young girls that are going to play this sport.
Well, another really, really neat storyline on Saturday in the win, when you talk about that explosion of runs, was Alina Felix. I had a chance to chat with her going into senior day, and what a special person. But she's voted one of the team captains along with Jordy and Ava Kuzak. And she doesn't always get a whole lot of playing time, but hey, they call on her to grab a bat there in that fifth inning, and she gets up there and rips a pinch hit and knocks in 2 runs that ends up adding to that run rule fifth inning, 7 runs in that 5th inning. So I had a chance to catch up with her and what that means to her as a leader of this team, and just having that moment here on this stage. Here with one of the team captains, Alina Felix, had a big at-bat there in the 5th inning. Man, describe the emotion right now.
Oh gosh, right now I'm amped up. I have a lot of adrenaline going. In the moment though, I was really trying to breathe and be present and stay locked in.
You guys put together that huge inning there in the 5th, 7 runs that ended up allowing you guys to run roll this thing. You had a huge at-bat. Take me through that at-bat and just what you were feeling, and then once you saw those 2 runs score.
Yeah, that at-bat, I was really trying to breathe, stay present. My teammates helped me out before. I remember Hannah Cora spoke some wisdom to me. She said, "You can't be shaken." I was like, okay, I got this. And then we started scoring, and man, it just kept going from there.
What was the conversation when they said, hey, grab a bat?
It was just grab a bat. I'm like, all right. And that was it.
Man, just the journey. I mean, this time a year ago, you guys were devastated. How rewarding is this? I mean, you're going to Oklahoma City. You guys talked about this, and now here you are.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've been working for all my 4 years. So to finally make it there is a dream come true, but it's not done yet, and that's not where it's going to end.
You guys have talked about the process, and how much do you feel like that helped you guys here today, this weekend, that you just stuck to the process for so long that you didn't have to make today any bigger than it was?
Yeah, I mean, huge. Like all weekend, we knew we had a routine on lock. We knew how to stay present. We knew this pitch. That's what we've been focusing on all year. So really, yes, it was exciting with the crowd and amazing, but it's really just what we do, and we felt like we just needed to handle business, so we did.
As a leader, as a captain, as someone that's been here for 4 years, how much does this mean to you to do it for this coaching staff?
Oh my gosh, a dream come true. This is what I dreamed of freshman year, and here we are.
All right, so I'm assuming now this is not it. You just don't want to get to Oklahoma City. So now how do you turn the page on this one? I'm celebrating what for a couple of, I guess today and tomorrow, and then you guys want to get ready to go back and compete again, right?
Yep, exactly. We're going to celebrate, soak it in, but then turn back around and focus on what's coming next.
The Huskers are going to the Women's College World Series. How does that sound?
Amazing. So excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And Kyle, she's one of the seniors that has been here the whole time. A lot of them have transferred in, and she's talked about how well they have meshed, and you'd think that they'd all been here the whole time, but she's been here for 4 years. And the process that she's worked through to get to this moment. And you forget about those kinds of players and how the process has been for her, and as a leader, and being selected as a team captain and playing her role. It's not always easy not getting to start every day, but what a special moment for her to get to have on that super regional stage after being a part of the process for 4 years. And even going back to a year ago when, they were devastated when they walked off the stage. She was a big part of being in that leadership team to get this team the day by day process to be where they are today.
Yeah, and she's a team captain. It means a lot to this team in a world of transfer portal and players coming in and out. For her to spend all 4 years here as a role player, a lot of people don't accept that you're a role player that comes off the bench and still plays a key role late in games. But for her to have that opportunity to have a big swing in super regionals as a team captain, you can only imagine what that dugout and what that bench felt after that.
Oh, they were fired up. They were absolutely fired up. So it was a really, really neat moment. All right, again, Women's College World Series for the Huskers gets underway. They got the late night game, 8:30, and Nate's going to take over and fill an extended pregame show for us coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we'll have Sports Nightly that night. Actually, no.
We will
Thursday. I'm thinking Friday. We'll have Sports Nightly into an extended pregame show with Nate. So we'll have a lot of coverage. Of course, that'll be a lot of our show on Thursday, right? Is previewing the World Series, and we'll have Eric Lopez tomorrow on the show as well. For those that don't know, he covers the sport for D1 softball. We'll break down the A-team field, what he saw in super regionals. Nobody covers the sport like him. Nobody's been around it and kind of knows it like he does. So we'll get his in-depth knowledge, not just on what Nebraska's chances are, which I think are pretty good, but the rest of the field and what to expect.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting. I think a lot of people thought Nebraska was one of the front runners just because of what Jordy Fromm has done in her career. And again, just the overall, how this team has been put together and their completeness. But now it's changed even more with some of the teams that have left the field, that I think even more so Nebraska's getting a little bit more attention.
Yeah, I mean, the whole no Oklahoma thing, I think if you were to see Oklahoma there, you're almost playing the logo, and you play with a little bit of fear in the back of your mind when you play that logo at the World Series, even though the team is much different than it was when it won 4 consecutive national championships. So to not have that in the back of your mind, to not have the thought of, okay, 13,000 Sooner fans essentially playing a home game with Norman right down the street. You don't have to play with that. And then I think all these other teams in Nebraska roster-wise, I don't think there's, Alabama's got a really good roster, but I would put up the Huskers roster with any team that's there. They've already beaten UCLA 3 out of 4 this season, so there's potential they could play them again in the second game.
They beat Texas. They beat Tech.
Yeah. So everything's on the table for them to go out and do it.
All right, going to get to a break. We are back to wrap up the show next.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Life is busy. Wouldn't it be great if someone could help you manage your insurance?
Well, I do have a lot to keep on top of. Between the house, my life insurance, the car. Like you said, life is busy.
A local Trusted Choice independent insurance agent can help you with your research, coverage selection, pricing, and claims at no extra cost to you.
Which means I'll have more time to spend on other things.
Trusted Choice independent insurance agents. We'll help do your insurance. You just do you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
From the chant of Husker power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Tuesday night edition. I'm pretty sure the last show I'll be doing in the studio for a while.
Yeah, you're going to be out on the road, so we got to get you with all the necessary equipment. Hopefully you kind of know how to plug everything up. We'll get you a tutorial.
Yeah, you're making things a little harder on me this time around because normally I just roll with it and wing it, and it usually works. But you're gonna.
We don't like winging
You're kind of like a little. You expect more, and so with this technical stuff, and
expect more.
Yeah.
Josh can attest to this. The units that we use are fairly easy, so I think you'll be in a good spot. But we're excited because the content that you'll get out there with softball. I think people really appreciate the fact that we're, as a radio network on our own socials, have our own unique content, and you have unique access that the other parts of the media don't. So I think that's going to be cool, and you get to see firsthand a team that you've covered all year, and you know Rhonda really well. So I think for you it'll be a fun experience.
You gonna miss being there?
Yeah, it's weird not being. There's only a couple of years that during my tenure at Florida that I was not there. So I was just texting my buddy Ryan Racky, who's doing national radio for the World Series for softball, and I said I'm going to be living OKC through you. So I'll be listening to him, listening to Nate, and it's going to be weird not being there.
Okay, well, coming up tomorrow, again, as you mentioned, Eric Lopez of D1 Softball going to be breaking down the entire field, the overall picture for this Women's College World Series field. And you're also going to have Ben McLaughlin, who will be calling the regional series coming up this weekend. But, hey, I know that people are going to want to hear his side of Pedro.
Pedro, I got to remind.
On the ping pong, because we lost it last week when Nick was trying to explain it.
Yeah, I think I set up Nick to look bad there because I think he was pretty clear in what he said, but I was, me being the smart beep that I am, I kind of set him up for a laugh there.
Well, shout out to Shane on the chat because he sent in a photo of what the P actually stands for. It's Prince. It's a type of ping pong balls. Mm-hmm. I thought it was funny. I missed this in the interview, but Nick said, it's P. It stands for P or ping pong, not Prince.
No, it's the brand. It's they are big. I don't know if you've ever had the energy drink. You're a big bubbler person, but C4. I mean, they drink. Oh, yeah. They guzzle those things down in the booth.
Ben drinks like 3 on football Saturdays.
Oh my goodness! And it's like the Jolly Rancher flavored C4. So Nick has one. Jared Meister, who's the great communications person for baseball, he had to stop for a while because he drank too much of them. But he's back on the kick now. Ben has about 2 of them, and that's what gets them going for a broadcast. So that is their thing, C4. And the baseball team, they raid gas stations on the road because of course, you have a million different energy drink selections at gas stations.
You have to ask me about that too, I guess. But all right, that's all the time we have on this edition of Sports Nightly. We'll talk to you tomorrow night for another full 2-hour show.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay